Life is a lot like a video game. We like to believe that we're the main character, the hero, the underdog. When push comes to shove, I'll be the one to save the princess. When in reality, you're living more like an NPC. When are you going to wake up and become the protagonist in your own life? If you stick around to the end of this video, it might be today. Signs that you may be an NPC: lack of motivation, you ended up in your job. You give in to temptation, you feel stuck. 5 years ago, I would have answered yes to every one of these signs. And it's why I make videos like these, to help other people do what I've done and take back control. It's time to stop being the NPC and become the protagonist. The biggest difference between the NPC and the protagonist is the ability to gain XP and level up. The best way to do this in the real world is through self-development. And I've got 5 books to help us get there. Number 1. Thought and Laughter by Jimmy Carr. Jimmy is the perfect example of an NPC becoming the protagonist. Jimmy actually started off as a marketing executive for a big oil company. After a little bit of traveling, self-reflection, he decided he would trading his high salary income to go and tell jokes to strangers. If you've never heard of Jimmy Carr, chances are you don't live in the UK, because he is arguably the most televised comedian in Britain. From the outset, you may assume this is just a hilarious biography by funny man Jimmy Carr, which it is. At the same time, Jimmy manages to lay down some real foundational information around self-development, such as having a healthy mindset, building good habits, and understanding your higher purpose. Jimmy took back control of his own life, and by the end of it, you'll realize you can too. Now that we've taken back control of our character, it's time to level up our stats. While in a video game you might think to max out strength or magic, in the real world, the most effective skill to have is charisma. Level 2. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book was written in the 1930s, almost 100 years later, and it is still regarded as one of the best books on communication out there. All my fellow introverts out there will be happy to know the secret to being a great communicator is actually being a great listener. If you can learn to ask the right questions, you won't need to say a thing at all. Get someone talking about their past, their loved ones, or a passion of theirs. And all you need to do is be genuinely interested and keep asking the right follow-up questions. You can even turn this into a game. Every time you meet someone that you don't know all that well, try and learn 3 new things about them. It can be their name, where they grew up, or what they did this weekend. Now, when you first try this, it's gonna feel kind of weird and awkward. And this is a good thing, because people don't grow inside the comfort zone, they grow outside of it. This is the first step in proving to yourself that you can learn new skills. And that will open your mind to the idea that everything is learnable. Climbing the skill tree has definitely brought us closer to becoming the protagonist. However, a video game character has true freedom. They can go where they want, when they want. It's open world. In the real world, the only way we can gain true freedom is through financial freedom. Level 3. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. In this book, Robert teaches the reader about financial literacy, primarily by contrasting the lessons he learned from his rich dad and his poor dad. The biggest mindset shift this book has to offer is the money abundance theory. The poor mostly have a money scarcity mindset. It's the idea that there's not really enough money to go round, so they hoard as much as they can when they get hold of it. The rich hold the money abundance mindset. It's the idea that there's more than enough money to go around for everybody. Imagine that there's a constant stream of cash. We'll call this the income stream. There's 4 ways you can access the income stream: employment, self-employment, investing, and business. Employment and self-employment are seen as jobs, trading your time and labor for money. Investing and big business are seen as asset. An asset is something that increases in value over time and requires little to no time or labor from the individual themselves. Investing in stocks is really just buying assets. Big business is like creating your own asset out of thin air. It's a lot tougher and will take a huge time investment up front. Eventually, you can leverage your own labor by implementing systems and hiring staff, or reducing your own time in the business. This will transition the business from a job to a self-sufficient asset. The poor trade their time to collect money, while the rich trade their time to collect assets. That's the secret to financial freedom. Build and buy assets. Create multiple income streams so you don't have to trade your time or money. I've given you the key, the secrets to success. Everything you've learned today, life is finally going to be easy. You'll be confident, you'll be rich, you'll have everything you've ever dreamed of. You're finally going to be the protagonist in your own life. But that's not true, because you're just another NPC watching another YouTube video you probably won't act on. And that's the real problem. All the videos, all the lessons, all the books that you consume, they mean absolutely nothing unless paired with actual action. The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Hal has developed a routine that he calls the savers. It only asks of you 1 hour each morning. The routine includes meditation, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling. I promised you, adopt this routine for just a couple weeks and you'll notice immediate results in your mood, your energy, and your self-belief. If you're sat there thinking, I'm not a morning person, good. This book is perfect for you because it's going to help you build willpower through discipline. Basically, choosing the thing that you should do over the thing that you want to do. Exercise over sleep. Sleep over Love Island. It requires action and hard work to improve yourself. You need to be willing to push yourself to the absolute limit and practice every day. You don't finish when you're tired. You finish when you're done. There's still one last ingredient that you're missing before you can really call yourself the protagonist. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Stephen doesn't only focus on success in the shallow corporate sense, he actually targets the reader at a much deeper level by teaching them how to live an effective, fulfilling, meaningful life. Whenever I start feeling lost or misguided, I come straight back to this book because every time you read it, a new lesson may resonate with you. The most powerful lesson I learned from this book is begin with the end in mind. So we're going to do a thought exercise that they teach in the book. So I first want you to close your eyes. Imagine it's 5 years in the future, you're pulling up to a church. You're dressed up for a funeral. You walk into the church, sit down in a pew, and you look up. You're actually at your own funeral. 3 people get up to speak about your life. A close family member, a close friend, and a co-worker. What do they have to say? Pause the video and just listen for about 60 seconds. What are they saying about your life? What do you want them to say? This experiment allows you to cut through all the noise and listen to what's actually important to you. To understand your deepest values. Is it honesty, loyalty, compassion, whatever it might be? Becoming the person that you want to be is a lot less about these milestone achievement and goals, and a lot more about the small actions you make every single day. Want to become an honest man? Stop telling white lies. Want to be more compassionate? Actually listen to people. Want to help others? Just hold the door open. It's the small actions you make every single day that defines who you are. I guess the reality is that life isn't like a game at all. The wins are less frequent, the hurdles are less forgiving, and the path, it's unpredictable. However, in life, you make the rules. You get to decide who you are. You set your own limitations. You get to tell your own story. Most importantly, in this game, you only get one life. So what are you going to do with it?